Michigan has come away with win number 3 of the season, going to Nebraska and taking down the Cornhuskers. We're going to get into it with our quarterback, Jack Tuttle, on this episode of Locked On Wolverines.
You are Locked On Wolverines, your daily podcast on the Michigan Wolverines, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Wednesday. We are back and doing it. Locked On Wolverines podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. I'm your man on the ground, Isaiah Hole, publisher of Wolverines Wire through USA Today Sports Media Group. That's my quarterback over there to the side. And we want to thank all of our everydayers. Thank you for checking us out every single day. Thank you for making us your first listen. We are going to get into, we're going to start off actually with the things that maybe didn't go right, because I was texting with our guy here after the game, and he was not all too pleased with the 3-point win over Nebraska. Then we're going to get into what did go right, and then where Michigan goes from here is kind of the typical format of this show. So, Jack, you were a little bit up in arms in the immediate aftermath. I was sitting in the post-game press conference, and I was getting texts from you, and you were just like, fire everybody. Bryce sucks. You weren't saying that, but
if I was saying that, I should not be working in football.
Yeah, you were like me. I could do better with one arm, my left arm throwing the football.
Not a chance. Not a chance. Not a chance.
What were the reasons why? I mean, obviously, a lot of Michigan fans came out this same way. Some of my colleagues were feeling the same way. But what were the reasons why you were feeling like, man, like that? Even in a win, this is not an acceptable way to play a game.
Yeah, Isaiah, and I really think that a win is a win in this situation. I'm looking back at my mentality right after that game, and I'm like, well, I probably should be thankful that we Michigan won the game, go blue in that aspect. And I do think the boys made it more tough than it needed to be. And it really should have been like a 2-3 touchdown, like win. And you even thought that too after the game. And there was some positives, but before we get into those positives, let's start with the bad and then go to the good, because it makes it a little bit sweeter at the end when we do that. So I am worried a little bit, and was worried after the game, about the passing offense. And the reason, because I have a little PTSD from it, obviously, from 2024, that whole situation. I don't want this 2025 team to be what we were in 24. It's almost like wanting your little brother to do better than what you did. We obviously were not good in the pass game. We were atrocious. Okay, let's just get one thing straight. I take full accountability. We all take full accountability. Wasn't good enough in 24. And it's just painful to watch a little bit in 25 that this pass game is kind of like that. And they have better players. They have a way better quarterback. Bryce is way better than any one of us were in 24. Let's just be straight, okay? The receivers, they have Andrew Marsh. They have Donaven McCulley. They have Anthony Simpson. They have so many other guys than we had in 24 too. So it's just painful to watch a little bit. We're going, we're moving the pocket, which is good. We're doing a little bit of play action, which is good. But where's the drop back pass? Where's the quick game? And the lack of drop back pass and quick game concepts is my biggest concern, right? We got to look behind the curtain a little bit. Right? What's the problem? Is it the pass protection they're worried about? Right? I don't know. Is it the receivers they're worried about? I also don't know, but we do know when we get into the receivers, we have one guy right now who's reliable, and that's Donaven McCulley. Okay, we see him going up, making these good plays when he gets a chance at it. Right? He had that. I thought it was a catch on the sideline in Lincoln, Nebraska. That was a catch. I'm going to stand on the table for it. Nice catch, Donaven. Let's go. But he is the only one who brings any type of reliability in that room right now. And those guys just have to be better. They have to. And if I'm Sharon Moore, if I'm Chip Lindsey, I'm thinking about mixing that whole situation up, because there's only one person who's prove themselves in that aspect over his career and at his short time at Michigan in his first couple games. I'm thinking about maybe I do, a McCulley, Hogan Hansen, Marlin, and find that other guy, mix in Marsh, mix in Anthony Simpson, mix in, the other guys Channing. So you have to be able to prove that. There's too many drops. There's too many missed blocks, MAs. And that was extremely disappointing to me because, I saw them grind in spring. I saw them grind in summer. They have to be better. And if I'm those coaches, I'm mixing up Kendrick Bell, anyone else, to put it Z, to find an answer and find the best combo with those guys. They have to find the best combo. It's crucial. It's essential if they want to get this pass game going. And obviously the combo that right now, it's just not working. It's not. And they're going to have to find it. If they want to be better in bigger games and win bigger games, Isaiah, they have to do this. They got to figure themselves out, right? If they want to go to the playoffs, they're going to have to figure it out. So let's move on from my rant about the offensive pass game or receivers. Super passionate about that. I want to see them do better. They're going to do better. Let's go to the defensive backs. Now, I don't think this group was doing bad or terrible by any means. I'm just super concerned about Zeke Berry. I'm super concerned about the injuries in that room. I saw Shamari Earls come back a little bit, and I just want that room to be healthy and grow. We saw lots of open wide receivers in this game, and a lot of the time, that secondary was being bailed out by freaking Superman and Batman and all the other superheroes in the front seven that included Ernest Hausman, Derrick Moore, and all those guys. Those guys were bailing out the secondary a little bit. And, it's great to play corner when you have a D-line and linebackers like that. It's great. But we have to be better in coverage. So when they do get better offensive lines, they do get better teams than that, then they can cover themselves in the back end. It's just crucial. They recover from their injuries. But guess what, Isaiah? I did see a little bit of hope at the end of the game. I was confused why he went in at the end of the game a little bit. I don't know why, but maybe it was just to get him going a little bit. Rod Moore came back and got into a game for the Michigan Wolverines. And let me tell you, that changes things quite a bit because that guy is an elite tackler, great in coverage when he's healthy, and just a great leader on the field and knows how to manage everything. I'm super high on Rod Moore. He is unbelievable. I've seen him play first person. He's unbelievable. I want him healthy, and I want him back on defense for the Michigan Wolverines.
Well, I'm going to say that I definitely agree with your assessment of the wide receivers and why there's such a reluctance to go to some other guys. Is it because they're not good at blocking? I don't know, but they certainly have to be better at catching the football. And I think that is kind of one of the things that really makes me concerned going forward. Are they going to continue to trot out this trio as the only trio, which is pretty much what we've seen? I do want to see more Marsh. I want to see more Kendrick Bell. I want to see more Anthony Simpson. I want to see more Jamar Browder. And listen, if some of these guys, miss those opportunities when they're given them, then fine, go back to the drawing board. But the fact that we're seeing drops from both Samaj and Channing Goodwin over and over and over again. And the fact that a lot of times this is coming on third down when they have to have it. That's a big difference from 2023 when you were on that team, of course. JJ McCarthy, you knew that he was going to hit Roman or Cornelius. Cornelius was Mr. Unreliable for much of the time that he was at Michigan, except for it seemed on third down, he would get to the sticks, he would come down with the ball. And that's not what's happening right now. And if you're going to be able to get better, which there's a lot of time left, there's a lot of games that you can have that opportunity to get right in, Wisconsin being among them, they're going to have to find a way. And they're going to have to play with those combinations, same way that they've had to with the offensive line. And I think at the moment you might have your best five on offensive line. But let's speak about the good here in a moment. Before we do, Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else as of August 2025. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings the same intention, how we craft every model. You can feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, we're going to continue on here in just a moment. But before we do, most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever even touching a spreadsheet. Maximizing investments, increasing your savings rates, even reviewing finances with your partner and or financial advisor, keeping a clear view of your financial health week to week and long term is the best thing about Monarch. Don't let your financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use the code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONCollege. All right, Jack, there's we wanted to get the bad out of the way in this one. It is a win. We spent, last couple days, I've spent more time talking about the good. So we wanted to kind of get to the bad. With that in mind, there was certainly a lot to like about this game. Yes, it's a 3-point win against Nebraska. But most people were picking Nebraska to win the game. Very few picked Michigan to win. Joel Klatt was among them, and that usually holds some weight. But a lot of people were looking at it and saying it's Nebraska's time. They're going to do it. Michigan's got so many question marks, and Michigan ends up winning it. So what was it from this game that you came away saying like, okay, this is something that I can take away and feel like good about where Michigan is gonna be going here from the next few games?
I'll tell you what I'm excited about. I'm excited about the big dogs up front, man. Let's go. How about those boys up front getting better every single week, even without Gio El Hadid? And I am so proud of Jake Winera, Nate Afobe. Wow, those guys stepping up, creating lanes for the running backs, just letting Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall run wild. That won the game for the Michigan Wolverines. If they can't do that, they don't win that game. Let's be honest, because their passing offense, not to get into the negative, wasn't great this game. But wow, allowing Bryce to get that long touchdown, great job. I thought Greg Crippen played a better game this week. I thought he played a better game, and he's getting better as the season goes on, and that's what you want to see out of your offensive line. And I'm super stoked on the running back room. I got into a little bit. They kind of ran wild. So did Bryce in the rushing game. Without those guys, Michigan does not win the game. And I'm going to stand on the table again, Isaiah. Justice Haynes. I said it again. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Can be one of the best running backs to come to Michigan, and is up for one of the best players in the nation this year. So he's extremely athletic, fast, got all the tools you want. He needs to keep playing like this for Michigan to be successful this year. And I'm excited to just keep watching him. It's so fun watching that room. Let's go to the defensive side a little bit. Let's go to those heroes, that front seven that also had a big part in winning that game for the Michigan Wolverines. Cam Brandt, Derrick Moore, Jimmy Rolder, Jay-Sean Barham, Ernest Hausman. I mean, those guys played out of their minds. Wink Martindale did a great job coming up with these stunts, these pressures, these sims that Nebraska could just not handle. Those guys could not take it. They couldn't. They were getting to the quarterback. They were tackling them well. And I'm just thankful Michigan has those guys up front, because they not single-handedly, but 70% won Michigan in the game just based off getting the quarterback, taking them out of a scoreable position. And that was fun to watch. And let me tell you, a newcomer that's been great is Cole Sullivan. He's made some plays. I knew he was going to be good when he came in. I knew it. When he came in 24, got a great attitude. He's been a great leader for his class. And he made some plays. I was, wow. That's a guy to look forward to and just to watch his growth over the years.
I think the interesting thing about the defense starting there is that the fact that you've got so many players, right? Because you just listed off, like, we didn't even talk about, you didn't even mention really the defensive tackles. It was the edges.
Yeah, I didn't give those guys any love. That's on me.
But I mean, like, you know, those waves that they have, like, right, they've got the 6 guys. Really, we've only seen 5. Like, one has been injured, but so they've got 5 guys that have been rotating in at tackle, and we've seen a lot of 3-man tackle fronts this year so far, and we saw quite a few of them against Nebraska. But then you have those essentially 5 guys that are rotating in at edge. You've got Jayden not really playing much linebacker anymore, but you still have 4 guys that are rotating at linebacker. Like, we saw a lot more Troy Bulls this week. Cole Sullivan, Ernest Hausman were just absolutely incredible. Jimmy Rolder did what he was supposed to do. Safety rotation has been also very good. Yeah, that does obviously leave the corner. But even that said, like, I was really impressed with Jayden Sanders and what he was able to do.
I was very impressed with Jayden Sanders. And we were question marking. We put a question mark on him last week, didn't we? We didn't know. We were a little nervous. But he played a great game. And that's super exciting to have that kind of talent as a true freshman. He didn't even come in the spring, Isaiah. He was stepped on Michigan's campus in the summer. He got there, and now he's playing in Big Ten football. You know how impressive that is? That is super impressive to do at such a young age. And another great highlight and guy to keep watching over the year. And I got to backtrack a little bit because I didn't give my boy Rayshon Benny a shout out. And boy, was he one of the star of the shows of that game too. I totally slacked off on that, but wow, Big Ray, as we call him, complete beast this game. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot to like there. To go to your offensive points. I almost wonder, and I kind of alluded to this in segment 1, when you do have Brady Norton and Giovanni El-Hadi become back, like, fully healthy, do you even tinker with it anymore? Right? Like, that's a big question because, like, what we've seen has been so good so far, the last 2 games. I would be reticent to put some of these, and, like, I understand he's a 5th-year guy, he's a team captain as far as El-Hadi's concerned, but, like, Afobe and Guarnera have been so good at this point. I'd almost be looking at it as, like, you don't mess with it because it's working. What do you think about that?
You know, that's a great problem to have is you have a couple guys, and that was the thing in 23. Not comparing this O-line's a little different than the one in 23. Let's just get that one straight. Those guys were just NFL talents. There are a couple of NFL talents in 25, but it is a good problem to have to say, wow, these guys stepped up when it was their time to go. And now we don't know who to play. Gio, Brady, we don't know if those guys should go back in. That is a great problem to have. And the answer to your question is they really could rotate all of them and keep them fresh. Because Gio's played over 1,000 snaps of football, I think, in his career. That's a lot. Brady, he's a young guy. He's going to be at Michigan for a while longer. And you can rotate him. But you want to play the best when the moments are the biggest. And they can rotate, keep guys fresh, but put the best guys, put the ones who played and produced the best on the field in the biggest moments, and you'll be okay. It's a good problem to have.
All right, let's move on to where does Michigan go from here? It's obviously a bye week, and you know what it's like to be at a Michigan bye week. So let's get into where Michigan goes from here as they kind of wait things out with Wisconsin coming to town in 2 weeks. Let's do that here in just a moment. But before we do, the NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet, whether it's player props, building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to Sundays. So if you are ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. All right, Jack, it is bye week / opportunity week. I would venture to guess that if there was a moment for Michigan to tinker and figure out the passing game woes, Sharon Moore talked about on Monday with his return about essentially reteaching the wide receivers how to catch the ball. It's one of those things where you would expect them to be able to do it. I kind of explained this on Tuesday's episode. That it isn't is I came from baseball mostly. So like I was a surefire person that could catch anything. I was a catcher for many years, and then they put me in center field because I'd catch anything that came my way. It's different with a glove than catching a football. And I just remember in 2008-ish, I was hanging out with my guy Brian. He's a Buckeye at heart, but we don't hold that against him. But he was a quarterback for Ohio University. And he had told me, he's like, bro, you're trying to like collapse on the ball. You need to have your hands. If you're watching on video, you can see, but you have to have your hands more like this, or, you know, if you're doing under, more like this. And they're not really doing that. It's almost like they're doing the collapsing hands thing and, or, you know, that type of stuff. That said, like, what do you expect in a week like this for Michigan to improve? And, you know, you kind of know how the program operates as far as that's concerned, but what would you expect as far as how they're going about trying to get better with Wisconsin on deck in a week and a half?
Yeah, so I'm going to let's lay out that week and what it looks like for Michigan right now. So at the beginning of this week, they go opportunity practice, and then they'll mix in a practice or two of Wisconsin. The boys will be let off late Thursday, you know, have Friday, Saturday, Sunday to themselves, maybe a practice Sunday evening to get back and get them ready to go for this week. But it'll be all business for the most part this week, getting ready to go, trying to mix things up. I'm praying, I'm hoping. And if they want to get better at catching the ball in games, Isaiah, and I'm not defending the receivers, they need to catch the football and they need to block. Okay. But I'm not defending them. If Coach Moore wants to get better at the receivers catching the football and it's not as simple as getting onto a jugs machine and catching the ball over and over again. I did that with them. I did that 1,000 times over the summer. Did it with them. The biggest thing is throwing the football in an actual game setting and a game situation. So if they want to get better at it, they need to do it in practice. They need to get into a scrimmage-like situation. They need to throw the football. There needs to be a passing period, something like that, because they're not just going to get better sitting on a jugs machine. Because that catch Channing Goodwin dropped last week against Nebraska, you can't simulate that on a jugs machine. That is a high-level game rep where he needs to pull in the football, and you just can't get that situation off a jugs machine standing there. It's just not the same. And so this week, if they want to get better at it, they needed to throw the football in passing periods. They need to just simulate that stuff, and they have to just throw the football because these receivers are getting a low amount of touches, and it's no excuse to drop the football, but they're the football's coming to me. And they get all like jammed up. That's what's something that Coach Herb used to do. He'd go, and I miss him. And what was the thing on our team. And I just don't want them to get in that jammed up stage like that. You can't do that. And they need to simulate game-like situations for them.
You mentioned Coach Herb, who obviously has not been around for a year and a half. I love Justin Tress. I do. I'm very concerned, but this is the bye week, so it's good. They have time to rest up, but I'm very concerned when you have guys that are able to go 1 week, they look like they're okay, or you hear a guy is able to go, but they held him out. And then you get to that, and then they go through practice, and then they're on the injury report is out. Hogan Hansen, Zeke Berry. What's your concern level for whatever they're doing in practice that's making it so these guys keep getting injured? We had Marlon Klein fully healthy after week 1 and then fully injured going into week 2. What's your concern level for the fact that guys keep getting injured in practice?
Yeah, that's a tough one because there's a lot of Michigan, practice traditions that have been going on since Coach Harbaugh. Michigan practices, I'm just going to describe it like this. They are hard-hitting practices. We hit during the week. They are old-fashioned at times. The younger quarterbacks do get hit during practice on the Monday opportunity practices. They do. They get hit. And Coach Harbaugh established that stuff because he wanted people to be ready to go. If you had to go, a young guy, all of a sudden needs to go into the game. Okay, he just had a good opportunity practice on Monday where he was going full speed, hitting people, tackling, ready to go. Same thing for a quarterback. If you're a quarterback and you don't get hit for 2 years, and then you have to go into a football game, it's just so much different, and you can't simulate that without hitting him. So that's what Michigan football practices are like. And that's probably why guys are getting injured at times. And it's not full go, hit all the time, but there are moments during the week that are full contact. And it's not Coach Tress's fault. It's not the strength staff's fault, because those guys go above and beyond to keep our players healthy, their players healthy. And, it's just bad seeing people blame. It's unfortunate seeing people blame the strength staff, because they really do a good job. And the nutrition staff does a great job at Michigan. So it's just old-fashioned Michigan practice. It's high tempo. It's high hitting at the beginning of the week. And it's just unfortunate that it happens.
Well, that's hopefully guys get healthy, and hopefully some of them will get to sit on a couch and watch some games. Although according to Etta, he's not doing that. He's like, I'm just going to be watching Wisconsin film. Actually speaks of the seriousness within the program. So that's very cool. But next week we'll have a game to talk about, and not a game in the past, but a game in the future. We don't have that at the moment. So Jack, enjoy your weekend as you travel to cover a game out in Tempe. So thank you to all of you who are out there. Thanks for everyone who's watching and listening. We will talk to you again very soon. Connor Stallions and the Manifesto on Thursday, and working on a guest for Friday as well. So we'll talk to you again soon. Peace.